Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz. Trevor here. I'm joined by Thomas. It has been a second since we have said that. We have both been at school, being academic weapons.
Oh yeah,
And we have finished up with it. We are back home now for break, and we are going to be recording a lot. So today we got best picture predictions. This is the first time we've updated these in like 6 months.
Indeed.
So a lot has changed. We've seen what's gone on in award season so far. Golden Globes, Critics' Choice. We aren't going to do videos for those, but like as we go through these prediction videos, we'll obviously talk about them.
We'll be discussing the general state of the scene,
Yeah,
what's
so
fallen off, what's risen up. All the changes that have come will be exemplified by our new and I'm fairly confident in most of this best picture lineup.
Yeah,
It's between 11 in my mind.
It's between 11. There's maybe a sneaky 12. There's maybe a sneaky 12. Yeah. We didn't see a need to do like a Critics' Choice and Globes video and anything like that. We'll do like winner predictions and stuff when it comes time for that. But for now, it is just best picture, and we're gonna go through a video for picture, video for the acting categories, directing and writing categories, and then the tech categories. And then we're gonna have lots of reviews. We're gonna get right back into it. We're gonna try and record more when we go back during the spring.
Yeah, we're trying to create a healthy schedule. We'll see however that works, but we'll definitely be doing videos coming up for all of the major stuff that is happening. We're in the thick of award season right now, and it's exciting, because previously we hadn't seen a lot of the films. We've now crossed off a lot more. I'm a lot more happy with my knowledge of some of these films. So yes, it'll be lots to discuss and lots to talk about in the upcoming months.
Yeah. No. Very, very just excited to be back and to we're gonna get back on a normal schedule again. And there will be more videos and plenty of fun stuff that we have planned. So now that whole intro is kind of we're back, everybody. Hello. Let's get into these predictions. So Anora, we both seen it. We both love it. It is, from what we have seen for both of us, our favorite on the list. Now, importantly, I haven't
quite easily my favorite as well.
Yeah, quite easily. There isn't really anything that comes close. I haven't seen Brutalist or Nickel Boys yet, which I've been told will be my two favorites along with Nora. So we'll see. But yeah, not the best lineup. If I'm being
so far, really not. And Anora is a shining star in that lineup, and which is, part of the reason that we have it number one, or at least that I have it number one, is just the overwhelming quality of the film. It is just a brilliant film that is well worthy of winning Best Picture. Besides all of the other reasons why it could win, it would just be a good winner. So, and fundamentally, 100%. The previous few years at least has shown that sometimes just they go for a film that has that sort of mass appeal that I think this film really does have. It's a very hard film to dislike. I don't think anyone is really actively disliking it.
Yeah.
And it's even though it does explore stuff like sex work and stuff like that, it's not in such an explicit way. It's not in such a way that will turn off
away from it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not going to turn people away from it. So even though it is an unconventional Best Picture winner, Everything Every All at Once was also very
and it fits with the times as well. I wrote this in my review on Letterboxd, but it is one of the most of this generation films I've seen. But impressively, it also feels like it isn't trying to be a film of this generation. We're gonna do a review for Anora, and we'll talk about it more in depth. But yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think a screenplay win is basically locked. Mikey Madison's the front runner right now, and again, I'm not 100% convinced that it's winning, but given where the race is right now, it has it can win PGA. It can win PGA. I think it's winning Critics' Choice. There's no reason to say it can't win BAFTA.
No, it can win the Globe as well. The problem is there are a lot of the Globes. Maybe they go for Wicked. Maybe they go for Amelia Perez. I feel fairly confident in saying it will win Critics' Choice. BAFTA's a bit of a who knows at this stage. And then it could all come down to PGA, exactly. But I don't see why it wouldn't win PGA. There's no.
It's going to win WGA. It's going to be close between that and Corbett to take DGA. But I don't know. It's looking good. It's
when Baker is in a strong position to win for both writing and directing. There's a very good chance he does win director as well. I think it's almost a surefire bet he wins writing at this point.
Yes,
that's always a good sign. Mikey Madison will get into what our predictions in other videos, but I would say she is in pole position right
She's the
now.
consensus frontrunner.
Exactly. There's no reason, like, it's not been losing steam. It's been gaining steam, if anything. And it's been a feature of this awards race since the beginning.
Right.
And
Since
it makes sense to complete Baker's, arc, to have him win for this film, his most mainstream effort. So, yeah, I feel fairly comfortable saying this will win Best Picture.
Again, yeah, like I said, I'm far from 100% locked in, convinced. Because like there is still doubts in the back of my mind. I just don't really see what else is putting up a meaningful fight, and we can get into the other stuff. We have the Brutalist just because I think Corbett can win director, and you gotta win either director or screenplay category to be challenging. I think Brutalist is going to get a lot of nominations. It's at least right now the front runner for actor. And like it's gonna get screenplay, it's gonna be getting stuff like cinematography and like production design probably, and it's score or stuff like it's gonna do quite well overall. It's likely getting 2 supporting, maybe 1, potentially 2 supporting noms. So like it's gonna be really, really strong. If it does win director, which it has a strong chance to at this point, like I think that makes it number 2. But to win, this isn't winning the Globe. I think Anora beats it at Critics' Choice. It's not winning PG8, maybe BAFTA. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though we have said we're not confident in Anora, I do think there is a slight drop off in terms of 2 to 4 at this point. Because there's so many dings against the R2 to 4. And I think the key thing against this film is that it feels like that film that gets a bunch of nominations.
Yeah.
Does very well, but just is not a Best Picture winner because it can't connect with a wider appeal. This is a film for critics and for people who are interested in film. It's not necessarily a film that your average Joe is going to go out and see and really connect with. It feels like people have been describing it as maybe a bit cold. That's been one of the key criticisms against it. That's never a good sign for a Best Picture winner. But as you said, then it's very likely to win for director and actor, and therefore has to be considered one of the favorites. I don't know if it will have the steam, the legs.
It doesn't feel like a winner.
It doesn't feel like a winner in a way. Anora kind of does, as unconventional as that seems.
Yeah, the more I've sat with Anora at number 1, it does feel like that. Now, will there be front runner fatigue? Maybe, but that wasn't an issue for the last 2. Albeit, this isn't Everything Everywhere All at Once. This isn't Oppenheimer. No. This isn't going to be a steamroll.
No.
So, I don't think Anora is going to sweep the precursors for picture.
And it's interesting as well to say that both of these, neither are going to be major tech players in terms of win. The Brutalist could win cinematography. Whether it's the lead in cinematography currently is a different question, but neither are going to be these sort of major tech players, steamrolls just cruising their way. That's not going to happen this year. I think there is a good chance that Brutalist maybe takes BAFTA and then Anora takes Critics' Choice and PGA, and that's what swings it. But equally, a bunch of combinations in that regard could happen, including the other 2 as well, maybe winning some major award ceremonies.
Yeah, and even 5, to be honest, with Wicked. We have Emilia Perez, Conclave, and Wicked here. Emilia Perez is...
This
managed to break the fucking Golden Globe record. This is one of the worst movies I've seen this year. It is by far the worst film in this Best Picture conversation. It is so uniquely and impressively terrible. It is Crash for our generation, but somehow worse.
I'd put it on the same level as Crash, to be honest. I don't think
it pissed me off more than Crash. I think Crash is funnier.
Crash is funny. Yes, I would echo most of that sentiment. I mean, this is a clear and cut case of it was launched into the award season at Cannes and just hasn't exited it since. And I don't know
for some reason. Pull out.
Exactly. I blame the people at Cannes. Those fucking French people. They deserve
fucking pretentious French motherfucker.
Exactly. For putting this in there, and then when everyone sees it, it's like, oh yes, I guess Selena Gomez is very good actually. Oh, I guess Carla Sofia Gascon should be it. Really? None of them should be getting in, but all of them quite possibly will. I mean, Jack Odiada's in. It's gonna break the musical thing in screenplay. It will get in adapted screenplay.
It's gonna get in because
there's a chance 2 musicals get in. That, let alone this one.
Yeah.
It's done well on the Oscars shortlist. As you said, it broke the Golden Globes record. This is a juggernaut, but I'm hoping it is a juggernaut that is built to fail. Even if it wins comedy musical at Golden Globes,
Because here's the thing, and here's why it won't win Best
winning
Picture, is because it's not going to come close to a win in director and screenplay. If a musical is going to win Best Picture, it's got to be winning director.
Yeah. And it would be really strange if, for the first time since 2002 for a musical to win this year, and it's Emilia Perez, not Wicked.
Yeah.
Something seems off about that.
Yeah.
The fact that in the first time in ages a musical has won Best Picture, and it's not the big
musical that is like one of the biggest musicals of the century. So like,
like it is a strong contender, but I don't think it is anything more than a contender. I don't see it. I don't see it winning. It will do well at SAG, undoubtedly. I'm hoping BAFTAs can pull through and fuck over this film. Fingers crossed.
Please, be like racist and
exactly. But this is not going to be Netflix's. This is not going to be Netflix's lead film. There's too many people that dislike the film. Like, fundamentally, even though there are people that love the film and will go to bat for the film, which clearly they were amongst the Golden Globe voters, there's too many people that just dislike the film, are in the same camp as us, and therefore that should stop it winning Best Picture.
I hope.
But yeah, there's a case to be made, but I don't think the case is strong enough.
I think a lot of it is out of fear, to be honest. I think we're just scared. At least that's what I'm telling myself.
Maybe we're scared.
We also got Conclave here. The thing with Conclave is that like it's probably winning screenplay, which immediately puts it up there. But like, is it gonna do much else? Like I don't know. Like it's about elections. And
I think that's a null and void. I think people want to forget about the election as quickly as possible. I don't think that the election thing will play any
I'm just saying, if you were to make an argument for it, it is about elections. It deals with a lot of very socially relevant things. It is crowd pleasing. It is broad. Neither of us were particularly in love with it.
I enjoyed it as a piece within itself. It's the kind of film that if this was to be more in a Best Picture conversation, this was like really a serious threat to win, I would maybe like it less and start to sour towards it, because it is entertaining, but it is not much more than that. It's undeniably gripping and all of those kind of things. It's shot well. I think Berger is a very competent director and would even maybe be worthy of a nom over other people in the category, Jack Odiard. And so, you know, it's hard to, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to inspire passion. And I don't see it getting the win.
It's a pretty flat film, I think.
Exactly. If this wins drama at the Globes and supplants The Brutalist, maybe it launches itself slightly more into the conversation. But as of right now, I'm not sure it's taking.
It's because it's only win a screenplay, and like it's gonna get a few tech noms, but it isn't threatening to win anywhere there. It isn't threatening to win any acting categories. Like maybe I don't think Fiennes is.
No, Berger's not winning.
Berger's not winning. So yeah.
He should be nominated, but
it's going to be there, but you know,
it's a threat. It's only this. Put it this way: it's only this high because of its threat and screenplay. That is the only reason it's even a slight contender. Otherwise, it's your typical sort of 6 or 7 nominee in Best Picture, easily in Best Picture, but not really a threat to win. I think that is kind of where Conclave is, aside from the fact it might win screenplay, which launches it slightly and could win the Globe.
Yeah. Then you got Wicked, which is a very fun movie until John Chu decided to single-handedly destroy it with his.
I've not seen Wicked yet.
It's I don't know. I have mixed feelings. It's fun, but like, goddamn, John Chu learn how to fucking direct. So yeah, it's massive. It is the blockbuster of the year, probably, right? Like, at least it feels like that. I don't know the numbers. It's gonna get a bunch of tech noms. It's gonna be winning tech categories. It probably has costumes and production design on lock at this point. It's, you know, Ariana Grande is a winning contender. We have to acknowledge that at this point. It is a 2-horse race between her and Zoe Saldana, and they're pretty 50-50 for me right now. Cynthia Erivo can get in, but like, yeah, it is a massive crowd pleasing musical. Now the thing is that it doesn't really have a shot in director or screenplay, and I also don't really know if it's going to win any precursors, which is why it's not higher. But I mean, yeah, it is just so undeniably it's massive.
It is. I mean, it's become this sort of event film of the year, but it resembles Barbie in a lot of ways this year in this awards. I imagine it will occupy a similar position where it will be boatload of nominations, a few wins here and there. Ariana Grande is a worry if that.
An interesting case.
Well, if that can start to become a thing, the problem still stems from the fact that it won't win director or screenplay. Though I don't even think John M. Chu.
It's not even gonna get nominated.
If John M. Chu gets into director, I start to worry that Wicked might be more.
Here's the thing: I would prefer Grande win over Saldana. Loki. I think that Grande just gives the better performance. As much as I was not expecting to say that. Really. I don't think that either of them are win worthy, but between the two, I think she is the better option. If I'm being completely honest. So.
Yeah, I think Wicked is a case where it's one of those types of films that people will say, "Oh, it could win PGA," and they'll say that throughout the entire awards race,
and then
it won't win PGA, and therefore it just is off the map completely. Same thing happened with Barbie. Same thing happens with these big kind of films. It's currently looking very strong because it's just come out. It's just been released. Everyone's watching it. By the time we get to February, those sorts of balances will have shifted, and people will be looking at the year in a more retrospective look. Like hindsight look. And I think that's when films like Anora will shine, and films like The Brutalist as well may emerge more strong than Wicked, which right now, sure, I wouldn't besmirch anyone for predicting this to win Best Picture. I just think there are very valid reasons.
We'll see in a month. We'll see in a month.
It won't exactly. We'll see in a month. I don't think it will maintain the kind of steam it has currently.
Right. Because also, like, people could say Globe Comedy Musical, but if a musical's winning, I feel like they go with Perez, though.
They go with Perez if they gave Perez.
It broke the record for them. Yeah. Like, you know, I don't know. We got Dune here. I think Dune's going to underperform above the line. I could see it being Avatar 2 and just getting nothing above the line and then just doing well in techs. I feel like Dune has kind of faded, Loki. Like, it feels like it's just fully out of the conversation. We'll see what happens when, like, guilds get involved in everything at the end of the year. But, yeah. Also, speaking of guilds, a big concern with The Brutalist was that it missed ACE. Oh, it's kind of important because, like, Coda missed it, and then I can't remember the last film that managed to win Best Picture without getting ACE on before then. So, there's that. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like... I mean, Dune obviously was never going to be a winning contender, but I feel like it's kind of dropped more than people thought.
Well, yeah, I always sort of felt it would end up in this kind of similar to Conclave. 6 or 7, it's easily getting in, but it's not going to be in win contention. And that is kind of where it has ended up.
We got a lot of those this year, so some of them have to get pushed up.
Exactly. The problem is we do have a lot of those this year. We do have a severe lack of, like, winning
strong films,
and Dune is among that lineup where it is a surefire bet to be nominated, but Denis Villeneuve now having dropped off, and to the point where I think John M. Chu stands more of a chance of getting in than Villeneuve does. The fact that screenplay, it could be in there, it could slip in like the first one did, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be a tight squeeze to fit Dune in when you've got things like Wicked, Emilia Perez, a complete unknown, all sort of jostling for those lower echelon in that category. So yeah, it's going to do well in text, but it's not going to be anything more than that. So
for sure. Then The Substance. This is taken off in very exciting ways. We both liked it. You liked it more than I did.
I really enjoyed this. This is another highlight in this.
I thought it was good, not great. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for getting attention. I think it's maybe the second strongest film of the lineup that I've seen. Again, haven't seen Nickel Boys or Brutalist, but yeah, no, it's like Farjat is in the conversation. Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley both probably happening. It, like, for a horror film to get in, like, sure, you might still have doubts, but like, I think I read this is now the highest performing horror film in the box office since, like, The Fly or something like that.
Wow.
Like, it is popping the fuck off at the box office. And yeah, like, it's gonna get screenplay, probably 2 acting, potentially director. It did underperform at the shortlist, which was a bit of a concern.
This is my key worry.
It's winning makeup.
Yeah. My key worry for this film is that all the precursors really like it. I don't see a reason, like, pretty sure it's Golden Globes has liked it so far. BAFTAs, it's a British film. So I imagine they will go for it as well.
Yeah.
I just see all of these precursor love and it not quite manifesting the actual Oscars themselves. Like, I think Quali is doing well right now. Will she actually happen?
Yeah.
She could drop. She could very easily drop. Farjet doing well now. Could she drop? Very much so. So it's locked into screenplay. Demi Moore is in the conversation to win, and off that basis alone, I think it is a safe bet to put it into picture
and it basically has a tech win locked with makeup.
Exactly, but at the end of the day, could this be a sort of film that is in the lineup, but is it just sort of sneaks in at the end? Maybe I can
Yeah.
see that
I
being
could
like
still see it dropping. I don't think it will, but,
no,
like, I think the top 6 is, like, safely locked.
yeah.
This I feel good about, but not
It's
locked.
the one with the most room to maneuver. Like it's the one that has shot up the most
Yeah,
to have from being not on our radar in September at all for a Best
right.
Picture nom to now being a number 7. We're fairly sure it will. That suggests that maybe it can drop off as well if this is just
Yeah.
Twitter hype, if this is just critics enjoying it or whatever. I can see that as a possibility, but right now I don't see any reason to bet against it getting a Best Picture nom.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Nickel Boys, I mean, this is just has a lot of love. There hasn't been any reason in precursors or guilds to doubt it yet. Like people have been going for it. It's not gonna get a shit ton of noms. It's like Ramel Ross can get director. It's probably gonna get screenplay, cinematography. I don't know. Maybe Anjanou Ellis can sneak in. We'll see. I don't know how much else it's going to get. So like there is room for this film to fall, but I think that this will just be a critic's pick. That
It's
is
made all the right lists. It got into
right.
Globes off no other noms. I mean, so did September 5th, but I think they're
Yeah.
different cases. We'll
September.
get to
We'll talk about
September
September
5th.
5th.
Um,
Fucking hell.
exactly. It's made all the right lists. It got Critics' Choice. It's been doing well at Critics. There's no, there again, like The Substance, there's no major reason in my mind that this wouldn't just become a nominee. Like, it's got all the right nominations there. It's now fairly securely into adapted screenplay, I'd say, at this point, given
Yeah.
how weak that category is, which at
Yeah.
first, when the first reactions came through, were like, it's not a screenplay thing. It's just director cinematography and that exact sort of Tree of Life package.
Yeah.
I think it is even further than that through screenplay. And so therefore, yeah, easy
I think it
nom in my
happens.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have A Real Pain. Now we're getting to maybe, on the bubble.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Culkin will sweep. It looks like Culkin will sweep at this point.
Yeah.
And just divine Joy Randolph and be like, yeah, sure, I guess that's happening. Screenplay is pretty locked. I think the last time we did these in like June or whatever, we had this winning. Which
we should have, stuck to our guns slightly on that one, maybe.
We should have
I
stuck
mean,
our guns
not
slightly.
win, but like,
Yeah.
It was always going to be.
We called that it was going to be close. At least a little bit, and that Culkin would win. I think we called that. So that's something for us. But yeah, I think it's. I don't know. I think it's still in. I think it's still just going to be something that, people are gonna pick up the screener pile and they're gonna be like, oh, what a nice little film, right? And especially with Culkin sweeping and screenplay being locked, it already has those two, so it's gonna be on people's radar, especially with Culkin giving speeches at award shows. It's gonna put it on people's radar, and I think that'll be just enough to push it in. Even if it is a bit like slight and is small and it isn't really contending anywhere else for nominations.
Yeah, I mean, you could even maybe make the argument Jesse Eisenberg is slightly like he got the Globe, and there is a space potentially for an actor. Should he start to build his campaign? This to me is whether Searchlight start to pick up their campaigning for a complete unknown. I don't know if there's space for both of them in this lineup. And Critics' Choice was an issue. Critics' Choice was a problem that it didn't get in there. But as you say, I do think it will ride off the fact that Culkin is there, and it could theoretically just Culkin win without the film coming along with it. But when the film is universally fairly like I had major issues with it, but the film is universally, it's very accessible. It's one of those type that you can recommend to anyone, and anyone will get at least that. It's a breezy watch. It's a breezy film. So yeah, it's definitely one that could fall out of the lineup. But right now, I'd have it. I'd feel more confident.
Yeah, because here's the thing. So we have as serious contenders.
Yeah.
It's this singing a complete unknown. And between those three, as you mentioned, I don't think both Searchlight can get two in. No. Like two contenders of this level that aren't locked.
Yeah.
Searchlight can't campaign two bubble contenders.
Contenders with similar nomination.
Potentially screenplay and then actor. Yeah. Like, so Sing Sing is probably safe just because I think whatever two is the combination of the three, I think Sing Sing is always a part of it.
I wouldn't necessarily say always, because Sing Sing is aided by the fact that it has 3 locked noms, whereas the same can't be said for A Real Pain and A Complete Unknown. Like Sing Sing has Coleman Domingo, unless something goes very wrong, is getting in.
Right.
Screenplay is getting in.
And
Clarence
then
Macklin
Macklin probably.
missed the Globe, but I think if you've seen the film, like the Globes didn't like Sing Sing. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't imagine the Oscars will take the same path. Like SAG Ensemble, nom, potential win is even kind of
Like
still
if that
Sing
wins
Sing.
SAG, then it's locked.
Yeah. Like A24 has fucked over this film, but they've, to the extent at which it's now not a Best Picture winner contender, it's just a Best Picture nominee. That is A24's campaign for you. That is where this film has gone.
Right. Well, because they also just, I mean, they prioritize the brutalist, it feels.
Exactly. They have not screwed over Sing Sing enough to where it is now
It's
no
out.
longer even in
So
the
it's
conversation.
honestly Sing Sing is probably just the 9.
I
then,
would probably put Sing Sing.
Yeah, I think Sing Sing is just the 9, and then it's just what Searchlight film.
Yes, I think that is the case. And at Critics' Choice, it was a complete unknown. But I think the Oscars are maybe more likely to go for something like A Real Pain, when they're giving it wins elsewhere. So yeah, because the thing with the complete unknown is that Chalamet could be in win contention once the film's released, and
but
people.
Brody's already really strong.
Brody's quite strong.
Yeah.
Norton could happen, but it's the kind of thing that like could. Norton's the kind of thing that comes along if the film's in picture. It's
right, but it doesn't. Norton doesn't come first, and then the film.
Norton doesn't come first, exactly. Yeah. Screenplay could. We would just look at this as a potential possibility, because of the fact that they don't like musicals and the fact that June's slipped off. It kind of opened up
also
the space.
Critics' Choice gave a complete unknown picture, and it didn't get into screenplay, and I feel
exactly.
So
that's an issue.
That's an issue. Like as far as text, it's sound, but then nothing else really.
No,
sound isn't even a lot. Like it can get sound, but like it doesn't have to. So like this could get as little. Like this could just be Chalamet. There is a world where this is just Chalamet. There's also a world where this is Chalamet, Norton, screenplay, sound, and picture.
Yeah.
And I just don't know yet. And A Real Pain just feels more certain because we know it's Culkin probably winning, and we know it's screenplay.
And potentially, I will accept that some of that certainty is due to the fact that we have both seen A Real Pain. A Real Pain has been out since Sundance. A Complete Unknown is still not really out to the public yet. Like, only really critics have seen it. And therefore, maybe once it releases, it'll be an interesting tester to see what kind of draw Timothée Chalamet has to general audiences, the kind of box office of this film it manages to total up.
I mean, Wonka did quite well, but that's also the Wonka IP.
That's also Wonka, yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is also Bob Dylan.
This is Bob Dylan IP, but yeah,
the Bob Dylan IP is crazy.
The Bob Dylan station. This is going to be a question mark until the film releases more wide,
which is in a week.
Exactly, which is in a week, so we won't have to wait long. I think that how well Real Pain did at critics groups is not going to be matched or bettered by how well this film does in the industry.
And interestingly, if you look, like A Complete Unknown is done better. A Complete Unknown has 10 nominations. Real Pain has 8 in Best Picture.
Okay, I did not realize that fact, but I don't think that changes.
I mean it's still close, but I'm just saying, like it's not like A Real Pain has been like crushing it at critics groups. So again, it is just that thing of a real pain has 2 certainties, including probably an acting win, and it is really hard to write that off when you're looking at a film that its floor is just an acting nom.
There's also, and this is a slightly meta point, that when people are watching and rewatching nominations to nominate films, they're much more likely to have more recently watched A Real Pain than A Complete Unknown. Because if they're watching A Complete Unknown around this time, they may be less inclined to give it another chance. Whereas A Real Pain, if they saw that film back in Sundance, there is more likely to be a resurgence of love. There's more likely to be a resurgence of momentum.
And again, the thing with The Real Pain is that you're going to have Kieran Culkin giving speeches at awards shows.
Exactly. This film, it's a lot more easier in my mind to see A Real Pain building momentum than there is for A Complete Unknown. Even though A Complete Unknown is like really the last in this lineup to get an official release, to build up that momentum.
Which is I think what we said like over the summer is that it's going to have resurgence because of Kieran Culkin.
because of Kieran Culkin, because of the fact that it is a breezy watch that a lot of people can just throw on around the Christmas period. There is something rather Christmassy about Real Pain. Exactly. So even though
familial and tender, and
exactly, there is something to just the nature of Real Pain of the film that will enable it to build that momentum, which it has done.
I don't know if referring to a film about like Jewish trauma as Christmassy is
no. Familial is yes, no, you're right. Familial is more a
familial
descriptor.
Yeah.
But it's a type of film that I can imagine families
watching.
Exactly.
And it's around this period, the holiday period, where the families.
Yes, exactly. You know what I meant.
We got there in the end.
We got there in the end. After brief cancellation potentiality, we smashed through that. It's the first video back.
Real Pain is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, we got to shake off the rust. It's our first time recording in months. If you're not expecting one cancelable comment, you've come to the wrong place.
Okay, fucking Jordan Peterson. What the hell's that?
There we go. Anyway,
Russell Brand up in this shit.
Fuck off.
What else do we have? Challengers is here because here's the thing with Challengers, guys. Here's the thing with Challengers. Screenplay's probably happening. It's probably in screenplay. At this point,
probably in
screenplay.
Challenges and September 5th are in similar positions in terms of whichever one gets that screenplay is the one that is more
right. It's between those two because I don't know if Hard Truth is happening because we have basically 4 locked in screenplay, and then it is it Challengers? This is September 5th, or do they go rogue and go Hard Truths? It's probably between Challengers and September 5th. September 5th managed to get a Globe nomination. How? Who the fuck knows? But this is like Andrea Riseborough as a movie. It is just like I haven't heard a single person talk about this. No, not a soul. And for some reason, like out of festivals,
I don't even know where it premiered. Was it a TIFF premiere? I don't know.
I have no clue. But out of festivals, there were just a few trades that were like, "We're writing about this movie. We're hyping it up," and the Metacritic's like a 70. Like I don't know. This feels like a psyop. This entire thing feels like a psyop. And now it just has the Globe nom. I don't know. I personally don't think anybody else is going to touch this thing. But
no,
I guess we have to take this marginally seriously at this point.
It's a film about journalists. Let's not forget that fact. It is a film about journalists. Therefore, journalists write it. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association have gone for it.
Apparently,
I think it stops there. I don't think the industry will take to it.
Right. I just haven't so far. The industry touching this thing.
Critics are not touching it either. So it is really just a sort of one of those things that are going to go slightly. But we thought we were past this. Like, what
was that one movie, like The Report or something like that the Globe did, nobody else? Or
we thought we were past these slightly off-kilter picks. They don't really make any sense that appear nowhere else. But hey, we're back to it. We're back like we never left. So I don't think this will go anywhere else.
Go back, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, there was that weird editing norm at like the Indie Spirits or wherever that was.
Because apparently it works in a lot of like archival footage so like the editing has been getting highlighted.
Yeah, but even if this at most is screenplay and editing, that's still not enough for it to get into Best Picture in my mind, which therefore slightly does rule it out as a contender.
Yeah, again, this feels like a journalist psyop, and I don't see it happening or materializing. The thing with Challengers that I find interesting, listen up, kids or adults. It's getting 1, maybe 2 music noms. I think it's in score at this point. I just think score is happening. Yep. Sure, that's fun.
Makes sense.
Song, maybe it's getting song. Screenplay, I think it's getting the spot over September 5. I think it is. This can get editing. I don't know if I'm predicting it. It can get editing. If this has screenplay, editing, 1, 2 music noms, right? That is a package that it can build. Even if it's just screenplay, a couple music noms, okay. Then and this would have to happen, but there is a non-zero chance, I think, in my mind that this gets PGA. It has been doing very, very well with the guilds. I don't think it has missed a single guild yet of what has happened. I didn't check if there was anything today, which is the 19th. But at least up to this point of recording, I'm pretty sure it hasn't missed a single guild. It's been doing very, very well. It's picked up guilds that it maybe wasn't supposed to. If that guild love continues, maybe it sneaks into PGA. If this has PGA, has screenplay, like, I don't know. I'm not saying that it will happen. I don't know what it displaces, but maybe this can poke its nose into the competition.
I think that I have never been very confident in this film at the Oscars, and I retain that certainty as to this film not being a thing at the Oscars. I just don't think they'll touch it. I would have needed to see a Critics' Choice nod for this to be really, in my mind, another contender. I would have needed to see that. The fact that I didn't immediately not that everything turned on Critics' Choice or anything like that, but that would have been an indicator that this is more than just Twitter and individual categories here and there that are really strong.
I think that's, for the record, I'm not making an argument to put it in right now, but I do think it is the 12 behind those.
Yes, I would agree, just because of its nomination potential and lack of other contenders. This is the kind of film that is only going to lose momentum from this point forward.
And the thing is unless it doesn't with PGA. The thing is exactly
unless it doesn't, but I don't see it getting PGA. When you've got such a clear 11 that you can sort of choose from, like, I'm
not even saying that I'm predicting it for this. I'm not even saying I'm predicting it for PGA. But if I were to make an argument for anything that's outside of this 11 that we're all talking about, it would be Challenger.
Because which are ineligible for PGA? Not ineligible, but they don't tend to go for international films, obviously. Is that because they can't?
They did Zone and Anatomy of Fall last year, though.
So there you go. And if Emilia Perez is the one you're looking at in that lineup as international,
it would be like if they didn't do, like, I don't know, Nickel Boys or like A Real Pain or something like that.
But either way, a complete unknown is so far above Challengers in my mind in terms of best picture.
I agree. Again, not making a meaningful argument right now.
Exactly. It's worth bringing up. There are so many counter arguments to be made against it.
So but no, I think that is our best picture list right now. I mean, it's not going to be all that much different than anybody else's.
It feels like we're already locked into a fairly certain 11. So
yes. It does feel like we're locked into an 11.
Yeah,
but I think it will just be fun because I'm not like the win races are going to be fun though.
The win races exactly.
They all feel uncertain. They feel a little bit uncertain. I guess I don't think we're going to see a bunch of sweeps. To be honest,
no. I think so far the only one in actor I'm looking at sweeping is Kieran. Maybe Brody sweeps. I think Baker and Corbett will maybe trade-offs. I think adapted screenplay, there is a chance that Sing Sing can maybe win in a few places, and it's not just a conclave straight sweep. Original screenplay, there's potential.
I think A Real Pain will win something. I think
but A Real Pain could arrive somewhere. And then tech categories, a lot of them are still fairly up in the air. Like you've got Wicked and June that are both going to be vying for stuff. The Brutalist is there to take up potentially cinematography, but there's also other stuff there. So it'll be a long old season, but a very interesting one, no doubt. That we're still not confident in the winner.
Yes.
Still not confident. That's why I like at this stage to not be confident.
Not be 100%. Not be 100%. So I'm excited to be back. I'm very excited to be back. Sure. I've missed this a little bit. Just excited to be back and back on a normal schedule, I think, over the next few months.
For sure.
With making things. That is it for our best picture predictions. We will have other predictions coming up soon, as well as some reviews, reviewing some of the films that we have been talking about here. We'll have our best of the year stuff, our awards, all of that fun stuff. Like we're fully back into the swing of it. So that is it for this video. You can follow us on Letterboxd. I don't really use Twitter that much. If I am using Twitter, it is quite literally just to tweet out links to videos here or to tweet out screenshots of my Letterboxd reviews. So just follow me on Letterboxd. And
I am not on Twitter. I mean, I still have the account still there. So
I don't really fuck with that place anymore.
Followers of a react.
I don't really fuck with that place. You can follow us on Award Expert though. I have started doing stuff on there again.
Oh yeah, I am.
You should too.
You can follow me as well.
So we'll be on Award Expert and Letterboxd, and if you want to venture onto Twitter, but don't.
I wouldn't.
But don't. Anyways, yes, more videos soon. Thank you everybody for watching, though. Happy to be back. And until next time, stay safe. Goodbye.